So what in the world is going on with the Cyberpunk reviews on Steam? Check this out right here. It says Cyberpunk is receiving mixed reviews more recently. In fact, Cyberpunk 2077 on Steam is getting review bombed big time. We're going to talk about what is going on right now and why this is happening, but also we're going to talk about some secrets that were recently discovered in Cyberpunk as well. Plus, I got to talk about the next gen version of GTA 5. There's a new update from Rockstar with new screenshots that I wanted to showcase with you guys. But yeah, we'll dive into first of all as to what is going on with Cyberpunk. Check this out right here. It goes on to say this: Cyberpunk is getting user review bombed on Steam after taking stance in Russia-Ukraine conflict by losers who excuse Russia's war on innocent people. Goes on to say moderate squirrel right here. And there's a lot of people that agree with this. Now, if you don't know, CD Projekt Red recently posted this one right here. It goes on to say this: in light of the Russian military invasion in our neighboring country of Ukraine, until further notice, the CD Projekt Group has made the decision to halt all sales of our games to Russia and Belarus. Today, we begin working with our partners to suspend digital sales and cease physical stock deliveries of CD Projekt Group products, as well as all games distributed on the GOG platforms to the territories of Russia and Belarus. Now, the entire CD Projekt Group stands firm with the people of Ukraine. While we are not a political entity capable of directly influencing state matters and don't aspire to be one, we do believe that commercial entities, when united, have the power to inspire global change in the hearts and minds of ordinary people. We know that players in Russia and Belarus, individuals who have nothing to do with the invasion of Ukraine, will be impacted by this decision. But with this action, we wish to further galvanize the global community to speak about what is going on in the heart of Europe. To our brothers and sisters fighting for their home country, stay strong. So there you have, that's their stance. And honestly, I'm proud of CD Projekt Red. They are not shying away from this situation. Yes, they are based in Poland. Yes, Ukraine is essentially neighbors to them, and they're going to do something about this. And in fact, if you guys want to do something about this, which some of you already have, which is wonderful, you know that I have mentioned 11-Bit Studios and their game, This War of Mine, how if you purchase that, you can actually help out. Now, their fundraiser has ended. They raised an exceptional amount of money here, $850,000. That's thanks to you all that decided to participate in this fundraiser. But it doesn't stop there. You can go to redcrescent.org/UA/donate. I'll throw the link in the description below for you all if you're interested in helping out the Ukrainian people, which I'm sure you are. So see that link in the description below. But yes, the community is united, standing behind Ukraine, it seems. But there seems to be part of this audience, I think it's a small part, that are going to the extremes to review bomb Cyberpunk 2077 on Steam, which to me is absolutely crazy. And there was another post here from the mod on the subreddit, the Cyberpunk subreddit. They go on to say this right here, and I had to highlight this. It comes from White Mistral, who says this: the invasion of one sovereignty is black and white on the good versus evil spectrum. If you support the invasion of a peaceful democratic country, chances are you're also the kind of people that CD Projekt Red wouldn't want to sell to. Review bombing will, I'm sure, be managed by Steam, but I encourage nobody to go harassing the names of those reviews on Steam. It's useless and unnecessary and just generally not very kind. Do what you can to respect and love each other and not feed into this sickle mess of hatred. We know that the general Russian populace don't want this. There are massive protests from top to bottom against it. They are not the evil here. The whims of a dictator do not represent the whims of the people. So well said right here. It says, as a last note, try to avoid political discussion in the Reddit where you can. I know it's extremely hard to right now, but remember that gaming and the systems thereof are supposed to be a relief from the worries and stresses of the world. Everyone, Ukrainian, Russian, Polish, American, Chinese, Japanese, and everywhere else, all like to play games, and we all like to have fun together. So let's enjoy things together. And I thought that was very well said, yeah, you know, Night City is an escapism tool for many of us for sure, but there's also reality there. And I'm glad, again, that CD Projekt Red hasn't shied away from this. They have taken a stance, and you know, other companies in Poland and elsewhere are also taking a stance and asking for us as a community to come together, you know, to try to help out as well. But anyway, let's keep going here and get into more Cyberpunk stuff, and then we'll get into the GTA stuff as well. So check this out. This was discovered by Machiavelli Now, who says creator of our Cyberpunk universe, Mike Pondsmith, can be found in Rogue's Room as his own character in the game, Maximum Mike, as you can see right here. This is such a cool Easter egg, and I'm sure many of you would like to know about it. So you can find him in Rogue's Room right there. Now, this is also another really cool discovery. This was discovered after 100 hours into the game by Slippy James. It says, 100 hours in when I found out you can shoot grenades. Check this out right here. This is really impressive, and I feel like they can go more into this mechanic. I really think that this type of thing needs to be in a tutorial or something, or they could tap into it through hacks and cyberware and things like that. I really want that type of thing more fleshed out in the future. I think it would be really, really cool. All right, so what about GTA? So Rockstar did a brand new update about GTA 5 Next Gen coming up here on, of course, March 15th to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and S. So that's very, very soon. And they also showcased, guess what, some brand new screenshots as to how the game is looking. It's looking actually pretty sharp here. I know, I wish it was GTA 6 as well. Don't get me wrong, but hey, we're getting some really cool updates, it seems like, within this new next gen. I wouldn't call it new. I'm just going to say new or next gen release of GTA 5. Some people would consider it new, but I guess there's some of the community that are also furious that we're not on to GTA 6 right now. But let's get into what has changed or what is being added to GTA 5 Next Gen. It goes on to say this: Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto Online, arrive for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series XS on March 15th, delivering the action-packed blockbuster story mode adventure and dynamic, ever-evolving world of GTA Online to the latest generation consoles. Okay, so there's a host of new improvements. It says the new versions of GTA 5 and GTA Online introduce high-end PC visuals to the console experience with new graphics modes featuring up to 4K resolution, a frame rate up to 60 frames per second, improved texture quality, HDR options, and ray tracing, as well as utilizing the technical advancements of the latest console hardware for faster loading times, immersive 3D audio, and support for platform-specific features and more. So let's dive into the specifics, shall we? Now, it goes on to say this: choose from one of 3 detailed new graphic settings to tailor your gameplay experience for what matters most to you. Fidelity mode is tuned for the highest visual quality and targets 30 frames per second. Now, in this mode, on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X support native 4K resolution with ray tracing enabled, while the Xbox Series S supports upscaled 4K resolution. Now, this got me thinking about Cyberpunk's recent next-gen update. They said that they are doing 30 frames per second with ray tracing as well on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. And I found that it was very sluggish feeling, a very sluggish 30 frames per second. So hopefully this is more of a smooth experience with GTA. We'll have to wait and find out. There goes a civilian flying in the air. Anyway, let's keep going here. Now, it goes on to say this: performance mode is tuned for the most responsive gameplay experience and targets 60 frames per second. In this mode, the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X support upscaled 4K resolution, while the Xbox Series S supports a resolution of 1080p. In addition, the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X have performance ray tracing mode. I believe that's what that is representing there. A hybrid of the fidelity and performance mode supporting upscaled 4K resolution with ray trace enabled and targeting 60 frames per second. Wow, that's actually really, really cool. So I am so curious about that third mode more than anything else, because I myself, I have to have my 60 frames per second or something like 40 to 60 frames per second when it comes to, open world games especially. I know not all open world games can handle 60 frames per second, but we're living in the next gen age, so I would hope that we can get there with GTA 5 Next Gen. Now, Goes on to say this: these new versions also offer across-the-board improvements, including faster loading times, increased population and traffic variety, increased vegetation density, improved lighting quality across shadows, water reflections, and other elements, plus improved anti-aliasing, motion blur, highly detailed new explosions, fire, and much more. So yeah, across the board, we're seeing improvements to the graphics and the actual world itself as well. And then there's more specific stuff to the PlayStation 5 with haptic feedback and dynamic resistance by adaptive triggers on the PlayStation 5's DualSense wireless controller. So I love the PlayStation 5 controller. Now, it also says this as well: the DualSense wireless controller adding new sensations to weather effects, directional damage, rough road surfaces, explosions, and more. Platform-specific features also include immersive audio using Tempest 3D positional audio on PlayStation 5 and spatial sound on Xbox Series XS. So they didn't neglect Xbox there, which is always good to see, of course. So it seems like they balance that out between the platforms as well. So yeah, let me know, are you going to be getting GTA 5 next gen, or is this something that you're going to be skipping and you're like, hey, yo, I am busy with Cyberpunk and Elden Ring. I am not buying GTA 5 again. This is getting ridiculous. All we want is GTA 6 at this point. Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. And mentioning comments, you guessed it, it's time to go over your top comments. Remember to leave a comment down below. It could end up in a future video. So this was my most recent video right here. It says fans are uncovering Night City's biggest secret. Free DLC roadmap by data miners. That's an interesting one. Check out that previous video if you want to see an indication of what to expect from free DLC coming up here in 2022 for Cyberpunk. It's looking pretty interesting. Now, we have this comment right here. It's a top comment. First one that shows up for me anyway. It says, Mike isn't really here. It says how cybercosis worked with your character in the tabletop game for those who might be interested. Yes, we are definitely interested. It says, in the old tabletop game Cyberpunk 2020, going cyber psycho was an inherent risk to almost all implants. Every implant was referred to as HC, or humanity cost. The humanity cost of an implant was decided by rolling a certain number of dice or had a fixed numerical value added to it. I cannot speak today. And then it says the interacted with your character empathy stat. The empathy stat was a measurement of how emotionally human your character was, not how nice, not how happy, just how emotionally human you are. If you are multiplying this number by 10, you got your total pool of humanity points. For every 10 points you lost a point of empathy. If that reached 0 or lower, your character would try to kill the party in a fit of cyber psychosis. Sorry, just felt all this talk about Lieutenant Psycho. It might be cool for someone to know a bit of background. That's actually really, really cool. And I think this could make a really interesting gameplay mechanic that you kind of had to deal with as you installed implants and worried about as you went throughout the game. I don't know. I think it could potentially be cool. Perhaps they can add it to more of a survival mode for Cyberpunk, but it could be a really interesting twist to the game. Now we have this one here from Perfectly Crumulent, who says this same secret quest appears in The Witcher 3's Blood and Wine quest, where you and Anna, I don't know how to say that last name, Herede, also trying to find Milton's hiding place during the festival. There's a crying woman standing above a small waterfall, and if you follow the waterfall down, you can find her missing ring. When you return it, all she says is, thank you. I think perhaps people are making a mountain out of a molehill, and the secret quest is just not a nod to that. Also, the monster DLC might be the rumored minigame that's supposed to be similar to Pokemon. Yeah, there was a rumor about that, them adding like this Pokemon-style minigame into Night City. That was a heavy rumor, and it did not go along with the data miners that have been correct, by the way, about Cyberpunk's DLC. So I'm going to count that rumor as just like the biggest rumor ever. But yeah, that's some interesting stuff. Perhaps this secret with the Anita woman standing by the waterway there ahead of the rocket could be a nod to The Witcher for sure. So I don't want to overhype anything, but again, there is still something secret hidden within Night City as confirmed by the dev team. Now we have Caleb Hill, who says this: I'm so excited to see what's to come in Night City after 1.5. The only thing that bugs me about the base game is the fact that car NPCs still get stuck in the middle of the road sometimes. Other than that, this is finally becoming the game that they promised back in 2018. And Cypher says, I already love this game from the jump, but if they keep this up, it's going to be in my top games for life. Tons of agreement there. Absolutely. I had a rough time with the launch of this one, to be blunt. I was really, really hyped for it. And when I got into the actual story, for it to, not work properly, the actual storyline, and for characters not to be saying anything and muted and everything, I was like heartbroken. My experience was a little bit different with the launch of this game. But yeah, now it's definitely in a place where I'm so happy I could actually recommend Cyberpunk to everyone for sure. But anyway, there it is. The latest happening around Cyberpunk. And also, we got some GTA 5 Next Gen news in there. Please let me know if you want to see more news about GTA 5 Next Gen. I'm really curious. But thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more. And I will see you all next time. Take care.